Hey, welcome back to the Fit Survive channel. So we'll be comparing these two flashlights today. So this is the newer Wuben T4, and we put that up against the Olight. This is their Warrion Nano. So the reason why I chose to put these two up against each other is I consider them both a small flashlight. They take the exact same battery. They take the 18350. And so we'll be comparing the specs between them, maybe letting you guys see which one you think matches your style best. So as I said, it's a smaller flashlight, but the T4, it's not a slim flashlight. You can see it's got a fairly aggressive head on it right here. It's got almost even a square shape to it, which is good if you're concerned about your flashlight rolling away. It shouldn't roll too far. It should eventually stop well. You also see the lens on the front. Compare that to the Warrior Nano. The lens on this is meant more for a spotlight, which is one of the reasons why the head on this is so large, whereas on the Warrior Nano, it's not as large. All right, so something else here to mention, kind of interesting, is for the settings. You can see right in the back, there's a little dial. It's magnetic. You pull it out, you twist it. So right now it's set on duty, and that's your basic setting. Basically just flashlights on, off. You can twist this over here for a lockout, or twist the opposite direction where it says tack, and that's the tactical, and that's where you get your strobe. All right, on the Warrior Nano, cool thing about this is that you have the two buttons. So you have the tactical button in the back, which if you like that, you can use it that way, but also you can turn it around, use your thumb here in the front and hold it in front of you. I personally like having the two buttons. I tend to use the button in the front more often, whereas on the Wuben T4, they'll have the button here in the back. And so it's just the tactical setup where you basically have this in your fist to turn this on, turn it off. Another thing worth noting is that on the Warrior Nano, you have a flat magnetic back, and so you can set this up, which I use this a lot whenever I lose electricity. You set it up on the tail, shine it up onto the ceiling, and it creates a nice light in the entire room. Whereas this one, you can't do that because that button in the back, it doesn't stand up on its tail. All right, this is also magnetic, and so if you have a metallic surface, you can attach it to that. All right, so moving up from there, very interesting here on the Wuben T4 is that the charging port is actually hidden underneath this ring. So you basically unscrew this right here. And you can see there you have an O-ring in the front and here in the back. And basically what that's going to do is going to help keep some of the dust out, the dirt out, some of the moisture and water. And there you can see this is a Type-C rechargeable. So basically any Type-C cable will work. Whereas on the Warrior Nano, you do need the dedicated cable from Olight. It's magnetic. So there's nothing to open, nothing to close. Theoretically nothing here that can get, I don't know, like let moisture in. It's just basically magnetic right there to charge the flashlight up. So I know some people really like having that charger, whereas having the Type-C, I think it's a great feature because a lot of phones, a lot of everything uses Type-C now. And so you have those cables probably everywhere in your house. All right, so moving on from there, after that, basically both of the pocket clips are removable. Just give them a nice good tug and you can take these off. The Warrior Nano does have a two-sided pocket clip. So depending on which direction you want it to go, you can choose either side. The T4 is just one directional. But at that moment, something we will mention is they have a tactical ring that you can buy separately. This goes for $10, but right now it's on sale for $8. I'm not sure how long the sale is going to last. But basically what you can do is you unscrew this right here. I prefer to pull off the pocket clip. And what you can do is just slide this on. It's a tactical ring basically, just like that. And then what you do is this fits over your hand like that. So you put your middle finger in there. And that gives you this tungsten little spike. So it's a glass breaker. So if you're in the vehicle, you can use this to break the glass, get out. They claim this is also good for self-defense. And so like you could use this like in a fight. I think it looks very awkward. You see how high my finger is raised. You know, I want this knuckle a little bit lower maybe. But anyways, what we're gonna do right now to kind of test that because it looks weird. It even feels a bit weird. We're gonna go outside and we're gonna break some glass with this. We're gonna punch maybe a 2x4 or a 2x6. And then I'll let you guys know what I think, just how, if it's comfortable, not comfortable, if I'm smashing my knuckle or not. We'll be using some gloves with that. So let's go do that right now and then we'll continue with the review. All right, so after quite a bit of abuse onto this tactical handle here, you can see the tip broke off from right here. So that's basically from whenever I was hitting it really hard. What it was doing was just pushing down this way. It did snap off that tip right there. So the good thing about this is that, I mean, if you do break it, which is not meant for beating, you know, a 2x6 like we were doing. Anyways, but if you do break it, I mean, for $8, you can replace this without any difficulties. All right, another thing you can notice here is that from the glass, you can see you did get a couple cuts right here into the plastic as well. I didn't expect that jar to break like that. Of course, I didn't have a car window to practice on or to demonstrate this on, but basically a car window, it's a safety glass and it's supposed to break into beads. And so anyways, the tungsten tip definitely does work for self-defense. I mean, I was intentionally aiming for this spike right here. I mean, typically, like when you punch, you go in for these two knuckles that you want to hit at. Whereas that spike, you're missing. And so, you know, if you go for a typical punch, you know, you could be hitting your finger. I didn't, interestingly, maybe I was intentionally aiming for that, but I didn't have I didn't really feel like I was smashing my knuckle at all. But anyways, it's not necessarily where you'd want it to be for, let's say, for a fight, for, you know, for self-defense or whatever. But anyways, nonetheless, definitely a really cool idea there with that tactical ring. Let me put this spot clip back on real quick. All right, so moving on with the comparison to the review. Nonetheless, this is a flashlight. And so the fact that this broke, I mean, it is a plastic piece that I was abusing quite a bit. I wouldn't necessarily give them a bad for that. What I call this a good self-defense tool, maybe no. It'll break glass, yes. It was not my go-to for, you know, put this on my knuckles here. All right, so moving on. I already mentioned that both these have the 1100 milliamp hour batteries. They both take the 18350. So identical batteries here in both of these. They can take the CR123s. So here's where some of the difference begins, is that with the Wuben, by the way, with all that beating on it, no problem with the flashlight. And so that's what you want to see. I mean, because if the flashlight stops working, it's dead. This thing breaks, you can replace it. So anyways, this has 850 lumens for the high, and you can see this is a spotlight. So you see the direct light right there. This is going to be definitely a floodlight. It has 1200 lumens. So let's go ahead and take these both outside right now, and I'll go through and show you the brightness comparison. All right, so here is this is the T4, the Wuben. All right, and turn on next to that. So now I have them both on. So this is the Olight. So you see the Olight is more of a floodlight. Come the other way, you can see. It's more of a floodlight. It doesn't have the focus beam in the middle, whereas on the Wuben you can see this is definitely a spotlight. So each are good for different scenarios. If you want like an entire area filled, then of course a floodlight's a lot better. Whereas the spotlight's gonna get you a lot more range. All right, so I did not mention, but basis has, for a high, has 850, 150, and then 5 lumens. And this one starts at 1200 lumens, and then it actually has a lot of different settings, 600, 400, 60, 12, and then it has also a 0.5 lumen moonlight feature. All right, so once again, as far as the flashlights go, they each have their own advantage. This is definitely, with the spotlight, you know, it's got its own use, whereas in the floodlight, again, it has its own use. And so even though the Warrion Nano has more lumens per se, the Wuben T4 actually is going to have a more concentrated beam of light. It has a 400 meter throw. And so like if you have them both on the same time, it always looks like the T4 is brighter, especially like in the middle right there, even though the Nano has the extra lumens. All right, so the Nano only throws 135 meters, but again, that's because it's a floodlight. All right, then down to price. So the T4, this is, again, like I said, a new released flashlight from Wuben. And so the MSRP for this is going to be $60 for the black and $70. They have a bronze, almost kind of like this kind of color right here on the gloves. So $70 for that bronze color. They do have a deal running right now where it's 10% off of the flashlights. And so that brings it down like $54. But also if you use, basically it's a a discount code. It's called +10. It's all small caps. You get an extra 10% off, bringing it down to like $49. Again, I'm not sure how long the sale period will last, but if you are interested in checking out the Wuben T4, right now is a great time to pick it up while it's on sale. This is sold separately. It's a $10 tactical ring that can be added to this. It's also 20% off right now, so you can pick it up for $8. So the Warrion Nano, it costs $75. They do have it on sale a lot of times during holidays like Father's Day, which is coming up soon here. If you wait for an event like that, you can usually get them like, I don't know, 10% off, maybe more. So it's also a great time to pick them up when they have them on sale. So just about similar in pricing. This is $60 for the black one. This is $75 for the black one. They have also a red one right now available as well. Right, so that's basically it for this comparison of the two flashlights. Let me know what you think, what you prefer. Do you like having this more tactical look with the searchlight there in the middle, or the spotlight? Do you have something slimmer, something that maybe fit better into your pocket with a floodlight? Anyways, let me know what you think about the two of them, which one maybe matches your EDC requirements best. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.